album, you won't respect it. Value going down, just check the Beckett. Too many features around, that ain't the method. To get you like my peers for years, you dodging blessings. I saw you and Alex in town, but we ain't checking no more. Your stock, we ain't investing no more. Flew to see you at 14, but that was just for your law. Now I'm on to something new. The new wave is sparks some controversy online, and you can get a view, and you can get a few. I mean, it's beautiful. I watched the play by.
What's up, people? This is your boy Levelhead, and this is the Live and Level Gamers Podcast, episode 105. We have two very well capable and respectable individuals in the podcast tonight. I'm gonna start with Mr. Mufasa. Go ahead, bro.
Sure, once I unmute my mic, what's going on, everybody, man? Ready to get in with these previews. Oh, let me stop.
And Captain America meets Mr. 20. Go ahead, bro.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I know I've been gone for a little bit, been handling some business, but I am back and ready to talk about some games.
Okay, all right. So yeah, man, this is the podcast. Hopefully D2K jump on a little bit later. We are here to talk about many different things, man. A lot been going on since the last time we talked. Definitely want to actually talk about the situation that took place in Charlottesville real quick. Like, I know we, talk about games and things like that, but every now and again, as grown men and women, we got to step into the real world a little bit and, like, man, what y'all think about what's taking place in our nation at this time, man?
And I'm gonna let y'all talk about that one, man. I'm gonna let y'all do that one.
You don't want to say something that offend, huh?
Nah, I'm good.
I would say this, bro. I'm 38 years old, and I'm seeing stuff that I only read about in history books and seen videos on. I've never witnessed anything of this magnitude in our nation in my 38 years of existence. And I'm sitting back like, man, this is a real serious time, man. And we gotta start working towards some type of reconciliation, racial reconciliation in this nation, man, and really start to acknowledge that this stuff is real, it exists, and we can't hide from the stuff. And if we continue to hide from it and act like it has left or something, because this has the potential to pop up anywhere. That Charlottesville could happen anywhere in the United States at this time, man. That's how tense some people are with this. And I just think we need to pray for our nation, man. Now, I'm not a fan of Trump. I won't even sit here and lie, but I even pray for him that we need some massive fixing going on in this nation at this moment, man. Sorry for the loss of life, the lady who lost her life and the two police officers who lost their life, and just real sad, man. What you think, K-Bone?
Yeah, man. So at this point in time, I feel like America has an identity crisis, because I think is, before I say this, understand that I wasn't the biggest Obama fan. Was not the biggest Obama fan, but some things I liked that he did, some things I didn't. So for people call me, Obama lover, but the thing is this: when Obama was in office, he promoted unity. He promoted togetherness. He promoted doing things as America. The current president that we have right now is everything is us versus them. Everything. You look at anything he does, it's always us versus them, and that trickles down to how even the citizens in America thinks. If it's not alt left, it's alt right. If it's not Democrats, it's Republican. If it's not this, it's that. And you don't see unity unless you're, especially on his side, unless you're trying to force unity just to get your agenda accomplished. And to me, that piece is a part that's kind of tearing apart of America, is this division in America, and not the promotion of unity, especially if you just want to promote it to get your ideas across, but just for the fact that in order to accomplish anything in America, man, we have to do it together. White, black, Asian, no matter what it is, because no matter what color our skin looks like, we're all Americans, man, and we want America to succeed. So, that's how I feel about it, man. I think it's crazy, man, for this stuff to happen, and it's crazy when people try to defend it. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, I ain't here to. We ain't gonna stay on this a long time, but this podcast, man, we try to be adults and mature, and bring in real stuff, man. Every now and again, some things happen in society that warrants even us here that come here to escape all the troubles and the pains of what go on in the real world. This was a serious situation that I could not give voice to it. And I just appeal to you guys to pray for your nation, man. Pray for your leaders and those who are governors, our mayors, our congressmen and women, our city council, all that, man. Pray for these folks because they really control and dictate how our world go, for us, and then we voting for these people. Pray for, it's just something we need to do, man. But anyway, let's get into this what we came here to talk about, and that is games. Been a winner since you've been on here, K-Bub. We talked about you last week, bro. I
heard that foolishness.
Yeah, me and K-Bub, me and Keith was on here roasting you. So we want to start with you first, bro. What you been gaming on, man?
What I've been gaming on. See, you really want to know what I've been gaming on?
Yeah.
Since you want to use my absence as your opportunity to lay it on somebody, but that's all good. I'm back. So let's talk about it. So what I've been gaming on, believe it or not, I've been scaling back on Overwatch. I've been playing less.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Keith. Did we make some progress here?
You can drop that.
I'm gonna let him speak. Let him speak.
Go ahead, man.
No. I've been scaling back in Overwatch because I'm noticing, I've been playing competitive mode in Overwatch, and I'm noticing as the competitive mode get towards the end of the season, people act like they don't care. And so what that means is instead of people doing things and making picks for characters for the sake of winning, they do things just because they want to, or they're tired of being a healer, so they're gonna rock 5 DPSs, and instead of doing stuff, knowing that if you do that, we're gonna lose. So I see a lot of that going on, and people just making stupid picks just because they want to. And not sacrificing their pick to get a good team comp so we can make sure we win. And so I've seen a lot of that. So I've gotten frustrated enough that I stopped playing it. I'm done with it right now until the next season come out. So and instead, I've been playing a little of The Witcher, playing a little bit more of that. I just got Madden 18 on that EA access. So I've been playing that. Bust out my Xbox. I ain't played it in a while, so I busted out. Been playing that, and been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's it. Whatever.
Hey, wait. You're not finna slide past Horizon Zero Dawn like
that. Thank you, Keith. I didn't want to say it, but I knew he was gonna just gloss on past what we've been asking him to come to the table with. Go ahead, man. Keith, I'm glad you caught that, bro.
Talk about it.
All right. Since Keith, you paying attention, I see, brother. That's good, man. Pay attention. So yeah, I've booted up Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been playing that game. I think I got about 8 hours into it. I'm about 8 hours into the game.
That's pretty far.
And if you want to know my opinions of it so far, I can give you some of that. So my opinions of the game after 8 hours is that this is Witcher light. So if you took Witcher and says, you know what, let's not go as deep with The Witcher, but let's do a lot of things that The Witcher did, especially some of the good things. You got Horizon Zero Dawn. Actually, what Horizon Zero Dawn has made me do is that, you know, in my head, The Witcher was probably like a 9.5 overall score, around 9.5. After playing Horizon Zero Dawn, I've actually been able to notice how well The Witcher did things. And so now in my head, The Witcher is actually like a 9.98, 9.9, almost 100 with The Witcher. Only reason I don't give The Witcher 100 is because the some of the system is kind of too complex. But just playing Horizon Zero Dawn has showed me how great of a game The Witcher actually was, or is. But Horizon, in its own sense, is a great game. It is definitely. I'm definitely enjoying it. I've definitely spent some time playing it. Lost what time of the day it was, going into the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock time frame playing the game. So it definitely has your attention. It has great action. The combat system is dope. The stalking people is the machines is dope. It feels kind of like a mixture between Metal Gear Solid and The Witcher. So those are definitely my two favorite games. So that's pretty awesome. That's a good mixture. And so all around, I'm liking the game. It's a good game, and so far it deserves the praise that it's received. I still have some issues with the game. It's definitely not perfect. Some really big issues, especially me being a story person. But other than that, it's a very good game and it's fun.
Oh my God, I can shed tears right now. I can literally shed tears right now. Keith, do you hear me, bro?
Man, if y'all go to the next topic.
No, wait a minute, man. We gotta pause. We gotta have a moment of silence. You know, I just feel like it's warranted at this moment, man. K-Bomb has played. He has actually played Horizon Zero Dawn. People, do y'all realize how long we've been waiting for K-Bomb to play this game? And I'm sitting over here with a smile from ear to ear, and I just feel like we just need to linger here for a second. You don't agree, K-Bomb?
No, I don't agree because I still wish I didn't play it, because after playing this game, I see how humongous this game is, and this is going to be another 80-hour game, and I still need to finish The Witcher. And so now I'm torn between playing The Witcher and playing this game because it is very fun. And then Madden dropped. So I'm going to have to find something to do with my life because that's too much game and I'm going to have to do, but I got to get it in.
I feel like playing some shouting music, man. I don't know. I don't want to take y'all to church, but K-Bomb just made me want to. I just want to play some shouting music. Anyway, let's go. Keith, what you been on, bro?
You know, I put Splatoon down for a little bit. Not because I think it's bad, but I just had to get away from it for a little bit. I've been playing Tomb Raider, the original reboot on PC, and I've been playing Resident Evil Revelations, the first one on PC. And I played a little bit of I was going to say Horizon, but Forza Horizon 3. I was playing a little bit of that. That's about it.
Man, okay, so we got some Horizon Zero Dawn out of K-Bomb 20. We got some Madden 18. What you said? That's the beta, right, K-Bomb?
Nah, man, I ain't messing with no Destiny beta. Where you get that from, bro?
I said Madden 18 beta.
Oh, EA Access.
EA Access. Okay, so, so I guess it's my turn. I've been playing Splatoon, but I did purchase a new game. Keep hush up. But anyway, yeah, I bought that Sonic. What is it? Sonic. What is it?
That's how trash it is. Sonic Mania.
No, Mania. Sonic Mania. I don't know why I forgot the end part. And I'm enjoying it. It's definitely really making me. I sent Keith. I sent all the guys a message through Google Hangout. Google Hangout, and said, man, how much I was loving Sonic Mania. And Keith was like, nah, we don't want to hear that. We know that's a no-go for me. But I'm not gonna front, man. The game was good. It really. The crazy thing about it is, Sega actually went out and recruited fan developers, like some indie developers or some dudes that was making that was fans of Sonic and made Sonic games, I think on mobile or something like that. They went out and recruited them and had them to come to the Sonic team and aid them in making this game. Because, and this is the best Sonic I've played since the original Sonics, you know, harking all the way back to the Genesis and maybe the Saturn. And I'm not gonna lie, I remember we had the conversation about Sonic. Was it ever a good game? And I guess because we played so many bad ones, from that point to this point, there's been so many bad versions of Sonic games that I think it tainted my view of Sonic in general. Like, was it ever really good? Because it seemed like it can't transition from the 16-bit era to the now where we at today with all the power and capability, and seeing how Mario has been able to come all the way from the NES to the Wii with Odyssey and so many different versions and types from 2D to 3D. Mario's been able to transition to modern gaming, whereas Sonic has had a hard time. But Sonic Mania, I would basically say it goes all the way back to the original situation, and it's a good game. It's fun, man. I will not sit here and lie. I'm enjoying the game. I played up to about 4 stages last night. I died a whole bunch of times on the second, I don't know what city, that Metro City or whatever that was. It's basically, if you had played Sonic 2 and 1, it's basically like playing those games all over again, but the stages have changed up a little bit, so it don't play exactly. The stage is not exactly like that, but it's literally like they captured what the essence of Sonic was on the Genesis and brought it to and made it into this game. And I can't knock it, Keith. It's a good game, bro. And Sonic ain't Mario. I will not say Sonic is Mario, but Sonic is not a bad game, but it's definitely a 2D game. I don't know if Sonic can cross over into 3D. I think it would take a group like Nintendo or somebody from Nintendo in-house developer. It would take a group like that to bring it to a 3D space, but and until somebody of that capability to get a hold of that of Sonic in the franchise, it seems like it's meant to be in a 2D world. The music is great. I forgot how good Sonic music was. And we're gonna talk about the Dreamcast, and this plays into it. But the music was amazing. A lot better than Mario's some of Mario's music in the 2D space, especially the new Super Mario Brothers U. That music, like Sonic music is killing that. Sonic music reminds me of Mario 3D World music, how good Mario 3D World music was. That's how Sonic music vibes, and it's really good. So definitely worth the $19.99 I paid for it. I don't feel like I lost $1. There's glitches though. I don't know if y'all been reading about it, but the Switch version has some hiccups. The home button doesn't register right away when you push it. It lingers like you'll push it, and it might not register for almost a minute later and take you out the game. I did it last night. It also froze on me a few spots, but it ain't been a whole bunch of problems, but a few little glitches here and there. But overall, I'm enjoying the game. I have no complaints. That's what I would say.
That's trash. No, I give you that. The music in Sonic has been good. I can't knock that. But man, I just don't like that gameplay, and I don't care how well this game is put together. I just know that I won't like it. Will I try it? Yeah, I try it if I see it for free on Steam or something like that. But I'm not gonna. I probably wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah,
free, I mean like $5. I might pick it up.
Let me say this on Splatoon, and I'm glad Chariot Man is in the comment section. Yeah, I've been getting hit up by a lot of different people on Twitter who has been on Splatoon 2 with me, and like I got hit up a few days ago by a guy. He's like, man, I think that was you I was playing with. He's like, man, if it was, man, good game. And I was like, yeah, if I play, I was just on, so it had to be me. So I was like, yeah, good game, man. And when I saw his name, I was like, his name was I think it was Kim or Ken. Dude was beasting, like crazy beasting. And then the next day, Chariot man hit me up, and he was like, man, it was good splatooning with you. And I'm like, dude, this Splatoon is that deal. K-Bone, you might need to go and get you a Switch, man, so you can get away from Overwatch. Splatoon to cover you, man. You need to get you a Switch, man. Join the party.
It's funny. One of my 2K guys I play 2K with had a Switch. He got a Switch, and he's ain't been playing that. And I asked him, I said, "Oh man, how you liking it?" And he said, "Yeah, man, I'm having fun. I'm liking it, man. It's a pretty good game."
Who got the Switch?
No, one of my guys I play 2K with, NBA 2K.
Oh, I thought you said our VR friend. I was like, oh,
no, he ain't touching that. Don't worry about that. No. So I was asking him about it, and he said, yeah, he likes it. He said, but people say it's too kiddie, but I like it.
Wow.
Man, look. Anyway, the kiddie thing was my level. I'm at 19. I'm like a couple of notches from 20.
I got to get on it.
Yeah, dude, I told you when you told me where you was, I was like, I can't do it. I gotta get over here and catch up with Keith.
Get on it.
Where you at? Where you at?
I'm still at 17. I haven't been playing.
Oh, let me hit this. Yeah, I shouldn't have this keyboard hooked up to this thing. Anyway, so but yeah, man, yeah, it was good getting it up with these dudes, man. And if you play Splatoon and you see leveled head splatting and laying that ink, and you just so happen to notice me in your game, don't feel like you can't approach me and say, hey, bro, good game on Twitter. I'm going to reply back. I've been getting hit up all weekend, so I'm just going to go back in. I wish we could voice chat with these dudes, man, Keith. I wish we could.
Knock it off.
What was that level you said you wish you can watch?
I wish we could. But man, they need to address it. We said that last time, didn't we, Keith? They need to address it. They need to keep sending me like 3 invites, man, and I got not a one. And but yes, Splatoon is that deal. Go out if you got $19, go out and either I think you only can download it. Go get that Sonic Mania, man. It's a good game. Right now, I got more games downloaded than I do physical. And we might need to talk about that one of these days. And I ain't ran out of space yet. I got Snake Pass, Sonic Mania, NBA, Playgrounds. I got several of the Neo Geo titles. I got like at least 8-9 games downloaded, and I still got a lot of space. So yeah, I'm enjoying my Switch, man. I'm enjoying my Switch. Did y'all see that video where dude said the Switch is his number 2 gaming console of all time under the PlayStation 1? K-Bum, did you see that?
I ain't watched that bull crap.
He said, and we're gonna talk about this. I'm saving our main topic, which is Dreamcast underappreciated greatness. I'm hoping by that time D2K is on here. But he said his top 3 consoles are the PlayStation 1, the Nintendo Switch, and the Sega Dreamcast. And I really do feel like the Dreamcast is one of the most underappreciated gaming consoles, if not the most underappreciated gaming console in gaming history. I really do believe the Dreamcast was underappreciated and cut off, not because of the PlayStation, but the hype of the PlayStation 2, not the realities of the PlayStation 2. Because I feel like, honestly, the Dreamcast was a better console than the PlayStation 2. But K-Bomb, hush, don't say nothing yet. We had that conversation when we get there.
100.
K-Bomb, sales does not know. Listen, hold up. We ain't going there yet. Hold it. Save it.
Yeah, table
100.
Let us know.
Grandmothers, great.
Let us know. That's like saying the PlayStation 1 was better than the N64, even though the PlayStation 1 sold grows over the N64.
Not saying that at all.
Right.
I'm just saying this thing did not just sell, it sold. So I'm going back on mute. Don't worry about it. I'm going back to my
mute, hush, silence. Anyway, in the comment section, leave us your thoughts because we're going to come back to it. Give us your thoughts on the Dreamcast and your top
copies,
3 consoles of all time.
GTA, Gran Turismo, God of War.
Would you hush, man?
What they got to do with
the PlayStation 2 was not. Anyway, we're not going there yet. We're not talking about the PlayStation 2. We're talking about the Dreamcast. But anyway, so let's get into this first topic. And this was from K-Bum. We started hearing about this, I want to say about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, as the Switch was apparently, well, I would say a month ago, as the Switch sales just continue to be consistent across the board, software and hardware selling pretty good. The Switch is sitting at 5 million plus units in the marketplace. Just about every first party title has in America and across the board has passed 1 million in sales. Like we just found out that Splatoon sold 1 million in the States alone. That's not even adding to what it is sold in Japan, which is like maybe a few 100,000 away from 1 million. So that Splatoon is a 2 million seller within a month. And then Arms has moved 1 million plus. Mario Kart has moved upwards of 3 million. Zelda is almost system in hand with system. Every system sale is a Breath of the Wild is sold alongside it. So it's like 1-to-1 sales with the Switch. I think it's sitting at close to like over 4 some million. So the Switch is enjoying not only software success, but hardware success. So EA, let's start with them. Of course, EA can't pass up the opportunity to be a part of the popular narrative. And since the Switch is popular, they had something to say about the Switch and how they are going to support the Switch. And they are looking into the portability and the aspect of the Switch, the whole nine. You know what EA does. But I'm reading this article and I'm getting it from, and I think this is what K-Bum is talking about. I think I'm getting it from Nintendo Life, where the president or vice president of the Worldwide Studios, EA's Worldwide Studios, Patrick, I ain't even finna attempt to say his last name, but made a statement as to say that FIFA 18 sales will determine if EA or how much support EA is going to bring to the Switch. Is that what you're talking about, K-Bum? If I'm not mistaken, is this what you was trying to get at with the idea for this topic? Your mic muted if you're saying something. K-Bum 20.
Yeah, my bad, man. The wife just called me.
Oh, my. Okay.
Click over. Go ahead, lead me back in.
I said you brought up the topic for EA with Nintendo, and I'm asking you, was the topic about the fact that EA has said, you know, what I said was Nintendo has been successful so far with the Switch for 5 months straight. Nintendo has literally moved about 1 million units a month, actually more because it's actually over 5 million sold right now. Every first party title has moved 1 million units. Splatoon has moved almost close to 2 million, with 1 million in the States and like a few 100,000 away from 1 million in Japan. And we're not even adding all the other places Splatoon at. So we can already say Splatoon is a 2 million seller. Arms is a 1 million plus seller. Mario Kart is 3-4 million seller. Zelda is selling 1-to-1 with the Switch. So we know it's a huge seller. Plus 1-2 Switch is 1 million plus seller. So every first party title for the most part has moved 1 million units. The hardware is moving steady and getting better and better as supply is is met. So now EA, seeing the success, wants to join the narrative of the Switch, and they're saying that they are entertaining, supporting the Switch. But the president of Worldwide Studios, Patrick, is hinging the support on the support of FIFA 18. Is that what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. So where did you want to go with this? Because I have many places I want to go, but I want to turn it over to you since you kind of pointed this to me to talk about it. Where do you want to go with it? What's your thoughts on it?
So what I wanted to get at and just want to talk about EA just real quick, just about their stance on it, and do you kind of think they're genuine with this? Do you think them playing the slow card is a smart decision, or do you think EA is just being EA and now they're seeing the Switch doing some good work that they're trying to jump back on the bandwagon because they see the money flying?
Right.
And so my take on that, because you actually read the article. The guy starts talking about how much how he personally loves the Switch.
Let's talk about that, because that's one of my points. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Roll with it.
Well, that's my thing. It's very annoying that a lot of these dudes, when they talk about the Switch, always want to talk about how they go back to history and how I started out playing on the Nintendo. Well, of course. I mean, it dominated for a long time, so it's not hard to, just like somebody who of the Atari age, I started out on Atari or Coleco or stuff. That goes without saying. I really love the Nintendo and I really love Miyamoto, but you don't support them. So if you love them, love is an action. If you love them and consider yourself a fanboy, as he said, fanboys will be putting their product on the console that they're a fanboy of. So that really is countering your fandom when your games are not showing up on a console that you came to be a lover and a fan of. So I feel like that's very disingenuous, and they say that stuff and it makes them look silly to me, and don't nobody buy it. I know you don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm pretty sure Keith don't buy it. So it's annoying to me. I just wish they would just get to the point and say their truth instead of trying to soften up what they're about to say. That's all that is. Go ahead.
Something without something is dead, and you know what that is. It's lip service. It's all right. It is. And I can add, to throw into this, I can add in Bandai Namco. They were talking about, we're gonna have massive support for the Switch and yada yada yada. All right, where are the games being announced? The only one that I remember so far is that Xenoverse.
Yeah,
Xenoverse 2. That's it. It's just lip service. I don't know who's supposed to get excited about this. Oh, they're bringing this, they're bringing it. As a Nintendo fan, we've been there. We've done that. We've seen people say that they're going to support it. But I need to see the games. I need to see. And matter of fact, I need to see the what am I trying to say? Not the production, but I want to see the progress of the game. You know what I'm saying?
You want to see actual gameplay. You want to see.
Yeah, I need to see it running on the Switch and say, this is progress so far, yada, yada, yada. I need to see some fruit. So,
right.
It's just lip service, man.
K-Bun?
Yeah, man. I think they're blowing a bunch of smoke up Nintendo, but the thing is, EA. I mean, I like some of EA games, but let's be honest, EA is about that money. They gonna follow wherever that money at, and they're gonna do whatever they got to do to make sure they making that money. EA really isn't for the consumers. I completely understand. I completely agree with that. EA isn't really for the companies that they serve their games on. EA is about EA, and they gonna do that regardless. So I think it's just them realizing that, hey, this thing is better than what we thought it was.
Go ahead. I was just going to ask that question, but go ahead, man.
You know what I'm saying? This is better than we thought it was, and you know what? Next year, we'll put a little bit more effort into it. We're gonna focus on the Switch, which means we're going to give you one game that's going to probably be a full feature game. If you don't buy it, we're going to go back to what we were beforehand.
Right. So that's what I was about to ask you. Do you feel like this is another situation where the Switch they didn't predict the Switch would be this successful, and now they're trying to pivot to be a part of the commotion that is the Switch because they predicted it wasn't going to be successful? Like when I look at now, like, okay, when you talk about Ubisoft, first of all, Ubisoft always supports a system at launch, whether the games are trash or not. They try to support. So
agree.
So Ubisoft had already had many statements about what they believe the Switch was going to be and what they believe the Switch is going to do, saying that it's harkening back to the Wii, that it could draw in that Wii audience, that it could be as good as the Wii. It could be a hit like the Wii. This is what Ubisoft was singing and praising Nintendo from before the Switch was revealed. Now, when you see a game like Mario versus Rabbids, you understand that Ubisoft is invested in the game so much so that they asked to utilize, and it's smart. Why not take characters that Switch gamers, Switch Nintendo fans have relationship with, and use the characters to bring your characters into a good space with this fan base? Ubisoft was making a smart move with Mario versus Rabbids. It's a spin on Mario. It brings Mario into a world that's unique, that you can go outside the traditional boundaries of what Mario is usually doing with the guns and all that type of stuff and blasters and violence that we typically won't associate with a Mario game. Ubisoft is making a smart move, but that shows to me, I don't know, I'm gonna let you jump in, Keith and K-Bomb. That shows to me that they in some way do believe in the Switch to the point they're making a new IP. They're kind of hedging their bets by putting a familiar face, not just standing on their own. It's smart. Ubisoft could have EA could have did something like this. What's the other one? Namco could have did something like this. So, but I throw it to you, Keith, and then K-Bomb come back in. Like,
you get out what you put in, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Like if you look back at Zombie U, which I think was an incredible display of how you can use the gamepad, and it didn't pan out the way they thought it would, even though it actually sold based on the ratio of Wii U's that was sold at the time. But you get out what you put in, and Ubisoft always, from as far as I can remember, especially with the original Wii days, they always have done something unique and try to take the console and take the advantages of the console that they're working on. And this is another example of that. And I hope that this pans out great for them. I'm personally going to pick up this game. I think it looks pretty unique, even if this isn't my style of game, but just the heart that they put into this game, the Mario Rabbids, it's making me want to play this game. So I hope, like I said, I hope they get what they deserve, basically, for working so hard. And EA, I mean, you're putting out a FIFA game, which typically sells very well. I mean, I think it sold well on the Wii, original Wii, but they didn't care about the market. That's a European type of game. You know what I'm saying? Over there, football is what they call it. Football sells very well over there. But over here, this is a basketball, football type of nation. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you trying to put your NBA Live 2018 or Madden, the new one that K-Bomb is playing right now? Why aren't you trying to put those games over here? So
I can kind of jump in that a little bit. So I can kind of understand them not doing Madden this year, since this is the first year Madden is moving to the Frostbite. I can kind of understand them not doing that. I don't completely agree.
You better say kinda a little louder.
I don't completely agree with that. I believe they should put it on all consoles. But you know, this was a really big year for Madden when it comes to the upgrade and being able to try to do that on multiple systems could have been an exhaustive resources.
Hold up.
So I can kind of get with that, and I can kind of get with NBA Live because NBA Live didn't even come out last year because they're still struggling to put out a good game, and I can understand you saying, hey, let's refocus and let's get it out here for these two consoles this year, and then we'll do the Nintendo console next year, especially when it comes to NBA Live over everything because they've had the most issues with that. FIFA should have been FIFA was done lazily though. The features in FIFA should be in all three games, the Xbox, PS4, and Switch versions. That was lazily done. That was something to put out there. Just say we made a game for the Switch. I'll say it, and I'll stand by it.
I agree with Nia. She in the comments section. She said, considering NBA Live is not as popular, they could have put. I think she said but yes, she meant put that on the Switch, and I agree because right now Live is seriously trailing behind 2K, the 2K series, to the point that they had to add the WNBA in just to get some type of attention towards the game. So it ain't popular. It don't sell.
But understand, it didn't sell last year because it didn't come out. Like
I know what I'm just saying.
I understand. I'm just saying though, like they're struggling to put out a game.
No, they not. No, they not.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
No,
the
they
why
not.
You cancel a game and not put it out is because it is not up to par.
Right. It's not up to par, but they ain't struggling to get it out. They struggling to compete with 2K.
No. They are struggling to make a good game.
Right. Because they compete with 2K.
And I don't. That is part of it, but they understand.
You think they're financially struggling?
No.
Okay.
No. Understand that if you put out a whack game with 2K out in its atmosphere, it is not going to be purchased by anybody.
Right.
That's what he's saying, though.
That's what I'm saying.
No. And I'm not. I'm actually. I take it back. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm actually saying, yeah, that 2K does have an impact on Live coming out, and if it's garbage, it's not going to be put out there.
Right, but this is what I think Nia is saying, and I'm agreeing with her. EA is trailing behind 2K so drastically and so bad that you would think putting it in more places amongst people who don't typically get the option would be a smart move. Okay, you're not going to sell if you on 2K is going to outsell on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One and PC. Why not give it to people who are starved of that type of stuff on the Switch and maybe find an audience that you won't find in the other two places?
But you have to understand still that you have to put resources to putting games on multiple systems. And if you're already behind the curve with making a decent game and your resources are not on making sure that you're compatible and working with all the system, it doesn't make sense to spread yourself thinner.
But this I agree. But listen to my logic here.
No. I agree with your logic.
I'm finna switch up. I'm finna go somewhere.
All right, go ahead.
Listen to my logic. Okay, you can't beat 2K because you're not good enough, right? Right? You ain't good enough when it comes to the NBA franchise to compete with 2K. Are we conceding?
Live is not good enough. Yes, Live is
not good enough. How about you do this? Why not come to Nintendo and say, look, Nintendo, while Sony and Microsoft and PC, everybody goes 2K. We're going to make it exclusive to the Switch. Don't go to keep 2K off the Switch and let us make NBA Live exclusive.
Are we talking about EA here?
Listen, I know we talking EA. This is level head. This is level head thinking thinking for them. Listen, you're not selling, so it ain't hurting you because you ain't gonna sell enough to make it worth your time against 2K. But if you put it on the Switch and made it exclusive and kept maybe instead of letting 2K get to Nintendo first and advertise their game first, you could have came to Nintendo. Look, we bringing live back. This is our idea. Let us pitch live with the Switch back in last year. Let us pitch live instead of 2K and let us make it exclusive to the Switch. You don't think that would have sold?
I think that sounds good, but I think you're talking about the wrong sport. If EA did this,
I'm finna blow you up. I'm finna blow that up in a second. I'm finna blow that up in a second.
So if EA did this with their baseball game, I 100% agree with you because they had the best baseball game out before the rights was taken from them from 2K. Now they would say, okay, we'll put a baseball game on your system, Nintendo, because remember, baseball is only exclusive to Sony. I think that would have sold a lot more than putting a bad 2K, a bad live game
Here's
on
the thing,
system, making it exclusive.
We gotta let Keith get in here. Keith,
Yeah. Sorry, Keith, your mic really low, man. So I don't hear when you talking. So
yeah, it is a little low.
I apologize for that.
What about now?
Yeah, you
That's
sound
better.
good.
My bad, people out there listening in YouTube land. Listen, I agree with Levelhead, but I also think that's a dangerous move because you also got to consider this is Nintendo fans that we're talking about, and these are realistic sports fans. I've heard countless numbers of Nintendo fans saying, "Oh, I don't like realistic sims. I would rather play." What was the game you just brought up? NBA Playgrounds. They would rather play Playgrounds than something like that. But here's why I agree. Because if you look at just the history of this year alone with the Switch and how Nintendo has strategically placed one specific game for each month, and if you would have put NBA Live 2018 for its own specific month and said, here's the new basketball game that's coming out, NBA Live, and they did all the stuff with the WNBA, I think it would have sold a lot.
That's where I'm going. The caveat here, the difference is not NBA Live. The difference is WNBA. Nintendo has a lot of women gamers. We have more, and I'm not saying this in a negative. I'm female gamers. We have a lot of female gamers on the Switch, and these female gamers don't just play Nintendo. They play Sony and Microsoft since they own PCs. They legit real gamers, but they have a proclivity for Nintendo. I'm gonna preface Nia again. It's almost like she should be in the podcast. But even if they go to a marketing rights, that can work too. Exclusive, time exclusive, marketing rights. But if you take that WNBA banter and that selling point, and you allow Nintendo, or you ask Nintendo to let us be out front with our game in your marketing, and let us market the WNBA aspect as well as the NBA, but the W being the main focus, I think you can find success there because we are the land of peach. We are the land of a lot of salmons. That's here. That's on this side.
Hey, Level, can I jump in? And I'm going to apologize right now before I say what I'm going to say. Apologize to all the women out there. I'm going to apologize to all those fans of the WNBA. But I'm going to say this. Yeah. You can't even get people to watch or sit in the stands for a WNBA game. Do you think people are going to rush out and buy live because of that?
Yeah, I do. K-Ball. I'm gonna tell you why I do. We won't linger on this topic too much longer. I'm gonna tell you why I do. Because there has been a narrative within gaming for a while now. The support of females and characters that are female, and the fact that there seems to be a lack of that, a lack of support there, a lack of identity there with female protagonists who leads games. That's why we got the Horizons. That's why we have on a lot of these games.
Which I love female. I don't mind female-led characters.
So I can see while the WNBA is not famous in the real world, playing a modeled what would you call them game simulation of that, because will be a different situation. It take on its own life, its own identity outside of the actual real WNBA world. That game would take on its own identity because of what's going on in gaming at this time. I think that's what's going to get it support, and I think EA is making a smart move by adding the WNBA because of the climate that is existent in gaming right now with women and female characters. I think it's going to work. I really do.
Nia in the comment section said that they should give the WNBA players Peach, Daisy, Samus, and Zelda themed jerseys, because that's the only way Nintendo fans gonna buy it.
Man, I'm not even gonna comment.
Look,
I saw it
right under that. I'll buy it and we'll sell cosmetology.
Amiibo support.
All righty. Okay.
I'm using my Peach Amiibo.
Okay, but getting back to EA and hinging their support on the success sales of FIFA 18. To me, this is EA to me, and this will make me not buy the game. This is EA trying to force Nintendo, the fan base of the Switch, and Nintendo's fan base to support their games in order. And to me, I think we should buy a game if it's good, not because we want other stuff from this company. So to me, EA, that will force me not to buy the game. If you're going to hinge, to me, the support for the Switch should be because the Switch is doing good, not because of a game, like Keith said, that doesn't really even sell. It don't even appeal to us. Give us Matt. That would have been, if you want to see how we feel about you, you should have gave us Madden, or you should have gave us battle what's that game? Battlefield. Is that what it is? Battlefront.
Battlefield. They got both of them.
Well, Star Wars,
Battlefront, something like that.
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield. Yeah, Battlefield 1, Battlefront. Give us that type of game, and then based on the support of that, determine whether we want to continue this relationship or continue pursuing this audience. But don't give us a game that you know most likely ain't going to appeal to that space. I don't want to play no soccer. I'm sorry. And I have no intent on buying the game. But now that you try to force me to buy it, I definitely ain't going to buy it. Take your games. I can play it on the PlayStation. That's why I got it there. I don't have to play it on the Switch. I got too many other good games to look forward to care about what you give me, EA. There's a lot of indie games that's got my itch right now. I don't need you. That's how I feel about it, man.
I do want to touch on something that you said, Level, and I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers and probably get some people upset at me, but I'll go ahead and do that. You made a statement that said Nintendo fans want to buy games just because they're good. I would. Sorry, I'm here. Yeah, I would suggest a little different. That I have heard Nintendo fans buy games just to support, not because it's good, but just to support. I've heard that several times. And so okay. So I just want to say that it's not 100% true that.
But I'm not buying EA games just to support. Look, you will buy Nintendo games to support Nintendo because that's your company. I'm not buying EA games hoping that you give me some more. No, heck no, not FIFA. Heck no, you are not going to sell me FIFA 18, the older version. Let us know it's not this version. It don't have this, and then say if you want more, go buy it. No. Actually, take a play out of what 2K is doing. They giving us 2K18. And they giving NBA 2K18, they giving us WWE 2K18. That's what you do if you really want people to support you and to see what type of support you're going to have there. Not giving us the older version of FIFA 18. With the track record that EA has with Nintendo fans, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. I'm just being honest, man. They shooting themselves in the foot at the door. They ain't even got through the door yet. And they had a misfire and they shot themselves. on their own, and then trying to say they fanboys of the platform. It just don't make sense to me. No, we can't do that. Can't do it, K-Mon. Keith, got anything to say before we move on?
I like hearing y'all argue back and forth over this because it's really simple, man. Just put the game out with all these other great Nintendo games that come out. People gonna buy it. That's all it is, man. Nintendo sells consoles, and their games would have sold maybe. Plus, it's portable.
Right. Look at this, and it might say a lot about us right now as a fan base. Street Fighters, Ultra Street Fighters 2, that game that cost half on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, sold over 500,000 systems, copies. So we will buy games, man. You know why I sold? Because it's Street Fighters.
Well, I'll say this as a Nintendo fan, I didn't buy Street Fighter arms, not because I'm not a fan of fighters, and not because I didn't want to support, but I didn't really want those games. I think I am the one fan that doesn't go out and support just because.
Right, I understand that. The reason I'm saying this is Street Fighters is a franchise that people have a relationship with. So even though I feel like they could have did a better job, brought us more, either like a Third Strike or something like that would have been a better idea than what they did bring. It's still Street Fighters is a game that Nintendo fans has a relationship with. We don't have no relationship with FIFA. Madden, maybe. Battlefront, Star Wars, yes. Battlefield, possibly. Not FIFA. You ain't gonna sell over in Europe because they're gonna buy that on the PlayStation 4 because PlayStation dominated that era. So why give Switch FIFA rather than the other games? That's to me, EA ain't trying. Like Ubisoft is trying. They made a new IP, a great looking game, and they being smart with it. They are trying to be successful on the Switch. EA is not trying to be successful. They're trying to force us to support them rather than really being supportive. And so to me, until you really show support, don't come asking me to support you. That's how I feel about it. I don't care if EA don't. I didn't care if EA didn't. Since EA don't do big no more, I don't give 2 cents about EA outside of Madden. I don't care about EA. I don't lose no sleep over EA game. I'm sorry. Now, if you bring it back Def Jam Vendetta, Def Jam Fight for New York, you bring it back them type of then I might shed a tear and beg you for a port. But I ain't begging you for a port over the crap you make. No, give me Madden if you give me anything. But I play that on PlayStation so I can play with K-Bum. So I probably wouldn't even buy Madden on the Switch. So, no, man, forget them, man. But anyway, let's move on. Enough of that. So, we've been talking about Microsoft and L's pretty much since the Xbox One has been introduced to the market. And lo and behold, the last time we talked about Microsoft, we was talking about people hating, bandwagon hating, right, Keith? That's what we was doing.
That's right.
And lo and behold, Microsoft does another thing to force us to hold up the L sign and make it all our predictions seem to be a possible truth. Crackdown 3 has been pushed back and delayed into 2018. So this is first we got to talk about the delay of that game and how it's going to hurt the Xbox One X. And then we want to talk about the actual effects of delayed games, how we feel about that. So let's talk about Crackdown 3 first. Keith,
can I take a crack at it, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was that corny?
Yeah, bro.
Corny.
Bro. That was kind of corny, bro.
Take a crack at this Crackdown 3. All right. Initially, I was laughing. I was like, "Oh man, Xbox, you just can't win." But then I really started to think about it. It's actually a smart move, and here's why. I believe Crackdown 3 was coming out around the time of Battlefront, the Star Wars game, and Call of Duty. Crackdown 3 stood no chance. Even on its own, I don't think, even if those games weren't coming out, I don't think the the fan more. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm kind of sleepy here. Fans were really wanting to get that game anyways. So bringing it out alongside Call of Duty and Battlefront, that's just suicide. So pushing it back to 2018 was a very smart move. Plus, if they actually are trying to fix things and make the game as good as they can make it, that's great. Now on the delay, it really hurts the Xbox One X. I'm sorry. There's nothing coming out, and to have your banner say that, oh, we got the best version of third-party games, that's nothing. That means nothing to me, because if I already have a PlayStation or even an original Xbox, they're $500 to play a better version of the game I can already buy for 60. Nah, bro, you can't get me with that. So I don't know what Microsoft is going to do, what they're going to show. I think it's still going to sell decently. I don't think it's going to sell well. I don't think it's going to do numbers like they are expecting. But not having that showcase game, and I don't think Crackdown was that game anyways, but not having that showcase game is really going to hurt this console. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's looking bad, bro. It's looking bad. Stormy weather's ahead. Stormy weather's.
And the radar is picking up. Go ahead, K-Bo. What you got to say, bro?
All right, so I might I'm playing a little devil's advocate here, because I was so ready to flame Xbox, just ready to just give it to them and show them how terrible they are, and ready to just lie to them. But let's think about this. Let's think about this. Is one game the absence of one game, is that really going to destroy the Xbox X? No, because the Xbox X was dead anyway. And this,
go ahead.
And there's a lack of one game for the Xbox One X is not going. It's going to have a minute effect on it, because I think it was hurting out of the gate regardless. And this is, as you used to say back in the days, an NBA Jam nail in the coffin, just for especially for the initial. I guess the initial wave may sell well, but I don't think it's going to sell well. Just because you don't have any true incentives, because especially I think the nail in the coffin really happened when you heard that third party isn't going to give you true 4K anyway.
What's up, D2?
What's going on?
Okay.
Oh, what's up, homie?
What's up?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but carry on.
Nah.
Continue throwing dirt on top of the Xbox One X. Let me stop you.
Yeah. So yeah. They have a lack of game that's actually going to do that realistic graphics or that true 4K that they were claiming. But I don't think this one Crackdown is going to have that big of an impact. I think it was already on that downward slope anyway.
Okay, I'll say this, and I'm going to bring D2K into the conversation. First of all, yes, this is an L, but if it's going to fix Crackdown and make Crackdown a better game, I'm all for that. I think it's the best thing to do. Take the initial L and make the game better, so that when it comes out to the marketplace, it can survive and be praised rather than being dumped on because it wasn't what they said it was going to be.
Mass Effect?
Right. So, but this is my thing. While I'm all with delaying the game to get the game right, it's an L, because with the price of the Xbox One, yes, it's going to sell to the extreme fans of Microsoft, those who was banking on this to be their savior, so to speak. What this is also going to do is force people to go out and buy a Pro. That's what this is going to do. The Xbox One X, people were holding off on buying the. I believe a lot of people were holding off on buying the Pro to see what the X was going to be all about. Now that we see what it's all about, I think it's making the Pro way more enticing, way more. I think I'm just going to get the Pro, bro. And I think this is going to hurt. This L is smart for the success of the game, but it's not good for the success of the system. It ain't helping the Xbox One X. And with Lucky Tales being the only exclusive and everything else is like what Keith said.
Forza, don't forget.
Man, we don't care about no Forza.
Hey, if you're going to give the facts, give the facts.
Look, I eat farts and food with my farts. I don't care about no Forza, man. Nobody's studying no Forza, man. So we don't care about Gran Turismo either. Nobody cares about those two games. We don't, K-Bomb.
Get your name out my mouth. Nah, player.
Anyway, I gotta get D2K in here, so let me hurry up.
I'm talking then.
All right, hold on. Let me finish my point, then I'll bring him in.
Funny, man.
Keith said it, and you made me forget what Keith said. Doggone it. Yeah.
Get it out.
Just playing a better looking version of a game I already have, and don't let me have a PC because I can play the better version than what you playing on that. It ain't no incentive there. So I don't know what they're gonna do, man. It's just multiple L's all over the place. It's slap yourself all over the place. But D2K, what's your thoughts, man, on this delay of Crackdown 3?
This is the first I heard about it. Can you tell me what's going on about it?
Crackdown 3 has been delayed, pushed back, deferred, taken off the shelf until 2018. Springtime of two. We don't. Matter of fact, we don't even know what the date is because it is loosely labeled spring. So there's really no date for when the game is actually going to come. So that was the one main attraction for the Xbox One X, and you were taking that away from the Xbox One X launch. And this Sunday we will learn a lot, and they got a lot to say. They're gonna have to say a lot at this game, whatever this Gamescom or whatever it is. Because they supposed to have a big press conference this Sunday. So we might learn something that might change our minds. But at this current time, D2K, Crackdown 3 has been pushed back to 2018. So that leaves the launch of the Xbox One at this current time and the information that we have very sparse. So what do you think about that?
I don't think Crackdown was going to do anything for launch anyway. Like you just said, it's good for the game itself to be pushed back so that way the game doesn't have problems when it eventually does come out, but it doesn't really make any difference. I mean, it certainly would be better to have Crackdown at the launch of the Xbox One X, but it's already a fail. There's not really thing that can save it. Unless they have something. Unless they're going to come out on Sunday or at some point during this year before it launches and say that we got this big, huge library of games that we didn't say anything about at E3, nobody knew about it, and they're all going to be dropping at the launch, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be just going to be a mess for them. And just like you said, a lot of people are going to go and pick up the PS4 Pro that haven't already, when they see this console with games that they can already get on their console now, or games that they have to wait until later, and have to wait until 2018 to play the game that you say is going to showcase the power of the console, which you were going all the way back to where you were saying this whole cloud thing. You know, this console was supposed to be able to do what the cloud couldn't do. Now we can't even see what it can do until 2018. So it's stupid, and I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think this really hurts them. I just kind of further shines a bigger light on how much of a failure the Xbox One X is right now. Now, that can all change. We don't know, but it's not looking good for them.
Right. It's like a person that got beat up real bad. Every spot is blue, so it ain't much else you can do if you hit me again. So I can take more hits and they gonna make the situation any better. So I mean, like I said, I think it's good for the game. I think Crackdown, from everything that I've been hearing from different podcasts and the folks that have actually played it, Crackdown wasn't shaping up to be the hit that we were led to believe when it first was shown. It wasn't working. It wasn't panning out the way that the creators, developers were wanting it. So it makes sense to delay the game to make the game better. but it don't help. Even though like you said, D2K, it probably wasn't going to help in the condition that it was in, and what's been said about it. It wasn't probably going to help the Xbox One X anyway. But the blow of knowing that it's not going to be there is only adding wood to the flame that is the L's that this system is and that this company is taking. Hopefully Sunday we hear something that
someday, yes, hopefully someday.
I know I said someday, but Sunday, hopefully Sunday we hear something that may give us a different opinion on the possibilities of the launch. But right now it's just looking Sony, Microsoft just, I don't know. To me, if you was holding off on the Pro, they have told you what to get, and that's the Pro. Right now, as good as the Xbox One X, as far as power is, like you said, D2K, we won't know when we actually see that. And with the fact that it's doing the exact same thing the Pro is doing, which we talked about the last time we talked about this, you might as well just go get a Pro if you want to be a part of that that level of graphics, the 4K and all that. Just go get the Pro. So it's cheaper and doing the same thing, just not as great. So, but anyway,
I got a question before we leave this topic.
Yeah,
did Microsoft ever discontinue the original Xbox One?
As far as making them,
yeah,
I think so. I don't think they make the one I got anymore. No, yeah, they done with that. It's just an S.
Oh, okay. I think if it was me and I was in Microsoft, at the store or whatever, I would have discontinued it and canceled the console and just moved forward with the S and utilize the power of the S moving forward, and basically made all of the people move forward with me that bought the original OG Xbox One. The Xbox One is going to continue to hold the Xbox One S and the X back. I think I would have just got rid of it altogether and cut my losses.
This also going to cause a problem for whatever their next gen kind of console is going to be, because whenever it comes out, people who have bought the X are going to feel like, well, wait a minute, I just bought this X a couple of years ago and I got another console coming out, and it can't be that much more powerful than the X is going to be, because how could you possibly have enough manpower and resources to invest in developing the X and then have all that time and money and manpower to invest in your next gen console? Right. So it can't be that much better, whatever they're going to be working on. So you could have spent all that time and money in investing into your next gen console to make sure that it's super powerful and it's an actual generational leap over what we see now, instead of starting this, mid-gen stuff and trying to get into an arms race with Sony, which both companies are losing out on, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I would say this, man, is what people thinking, and we can end here because what D2K just said makes us transition to the next topic, which is about the Dreamcast. So, but I will say this: people keep saying that the PlayStation 5 is rumored to come out next year and be showcased next year. I'm like, no, Sony has no reason at all to end the success that is the PlayStation 4. They have no reason. They selling almost 2.5 to 1 of the Xbox One. They are winning. They have the Pro. They don't have. This is going to last for a while. This system is going to be here for a while because it's successful, and they don't have no directly competing device that's threatening them maybe the Switch in popularity at this moment, but not sales. So. And power wise, the Switch doesn't compete with the PlayStation 4 nor the Pro. So, well, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't look bad to the 4, but it definitely don't compete with the Pro. So Sony has no incentive, no urgency to make a PlayStation 5 now with what's going on with Microsoft. The only thing they can do would do that if Microsoft came out with a new system, which now they, like D2K just said, they can't do now because they got this system. So it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be a crazy 4 years, I would say, before we really see something new. I think I'll give this another 3-4 years before we see Sony make another platform. That's what I believe. So we looking at possibly 2020 at the earliest, I don't think we'll see anything from Sony. But with that being said, let's get to our main topic. And D2K, I'm glad you showed up, bro. What's up, man? D2K?
I didn't hear that. You cut out. What did you say?
I said I'm glad you showed up because this is the topic we wanted you here for. So I'm glad you showed up. What's been good?
It's been all right. I've been busy, but it's been okay.
Okay. So last week, me, Keith Norris, and D2K talked about whether or not Rare did Nintendo better than Nintendo. And in that conversation, we got to reminiscing on the Sega Dreamcast. So after the podcast, we was talking and we was like, man, we should bring this back as a main topic and really show our appreciation for the Dreamcast as being the most underrated, underappreciated gaming console of all time. D2K made a very interesting statement when he said in off air by saying that he believed, and I kind of looking back on it, I tend to agree with him, that the Dreamcast, we haven't seen a jump like the Dreamcast since the Dreamcast in gaming. And I don't think I'm articulating it as good as he did. So by setting that up, I'm letting him take over. Would you articulate what you said to me and Keith off air after the podcast so we can have this conversation and talk about the Sega Dreamcast? It's in your hands, D2.
Okay. Well, I was bringing up the fact that when you look at the consoles from the 6th generation on, whether it's going from the Xbox to the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, you don't really see a big jump in terms of graphical fidelity, in terms of visuals anymore. I mean, things look better somewhat, and then as the years go by, games look better and better and better. But the last time we saw a huge jump in graphics and visuals from one generation to the next, in my opinion, was going from the 5th generation to the 6th generation with the Dreamcast. Because when you look at Dreamcast games and you compare them to the N64, the N64 has some great looking games, and that was a very powerful system. But then when you look at the Dreamcast, I mean, it was like a whole new world was opened up when they released that console. And it was to the point where Dreamcast games were looking better than their arcade counterparts, particularly Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur looked better on the Dreamcast than it did in the arcade. House of the Dead looked better on the Dreamcast than it did in the arcade. It was like when you looked at Sonic Adventure for the first time, and you looked at the board that you saw the most was the board where he's running away from that killer whale. Yeah. And the killer whale is busting up the plank that you're running on and everything like that. When you saw that, it was like, what is going on? This is a game?
I told you last week, man, I cried inside as a Nintendo fan, and I was saying it's deep into my heart, it's over. We have lost. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
It was so many. There's so many memorable games on the Dreamcast. And so many precedents were set in terms of games that are still running today. Like NBA 2K started on the Dreamcast, and that's still going strong. I mean, it's so many things were so good on the Dreamcast, and to me, that was the last time that somebody really tried hard to give us the true next-gen experience with a console. It was just a couple of things that Sega did wrong that kind of messed everything up. And it's too bad that the Dreamcast fell apart, but that console was something that was legendary in my book.
Yeah, I agree. To me, when you said that last week, and I'm going to let each guy give their take, and then we'll dissect the underappreciation of the Dreamcast. When you said that last week, man, it really made me reminisce and go back to my initial introduction to the Dreamcast. I remember sitting at Hastings and I used to go and read the Game Informers and the game magazines there. And I remember opening up the book, and it had Dead or Alive, pictures of Dead or Alive in the game. It was I think it's the lead character that I can't remember his first name.
Jan Lee.
Jan Lee. I wanted to say Jan. I wasn't sure. Jan Lee was kicking, I think, Boss or the wrestler out the church window, and he was laying on his back, and Jan Lee was jumping out the window down to the turf. And I'm like, man, what the heck is this game? This ain't at the arcade. I ain't never seen this fighting game before. And then I turn to the next page, and you see Sonic, and just looking like straight out of a comic book, like this is a cartoon off of TV. And I'm like, man, what is this? And then I actually went into Toys R Us. I was late to the party with the Dreamcast. I went into Toys R Us, and they had all these kiosks set up with Sonic. And I ain't no Sega. I'm Nintendo. If the guy N64, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Wave Race. I touched that controller and melted when I touched the controller. I touched the controller. I just, whew, and I kind of like, man, this is real. This is real. And then I touched the triggers, and they were so butter, and then how they just responded to every slight adjustment, and then the little opening slot, and then the offset, and I was like, oh my God, this is nice, but I'm still hating. I'm just being honest. I'm hating. I'm hating right now. And I played Sonic, and I died inside of everybody looking at me. Didn't know that this fanboy died a slow death while he played Sonic, and it won me over. And I was like, dude, that's when I stopped being an extreme Nintendo fan. Was that day standing in front of that system playing Sonic, and then it was done by the time when I played Soul Calibur. That was it. I'm like, look, I guess I'm not as Nintendo as I thought. Sony never did that to me, but the Dreamcast did. So Keith, K-Bomb, whoever want to go first, give your initial feelings about the Dreamcast. Then we start talking about its place amongst all consoles in the history of consoles. Who want to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Let me first start off by saying I never owned a Dreamcast. I was that guy that Level was just describing that died a little bit at that store. I was that Nintendo fan. I didn't die then. I died later. But my initial thoughts of the Dreamcast was, this is next gen. That's when I was really into the whole this is next gen thing, because I think the game that really sold me before it even came out was Shenmue. I remember looking at the magazines, and I was like, man, I can't believe that Sega has a game this beautiful coming out. Nintendo, what y'all doing? I think I was still waiting. I don't know when that game came out, but I think I was still waiting on Majora's Mask. I was still trying to get excited about that, but I'm sitting over looking at Shenmue like, oh man, they got dynamic weather. Oh my God, I can't believe this game is coming out. Yada yada yada. But and then the controller just melted in your hand before the GameCube controller melted in your hand. Dreamcast did it first. Actually, I think there was a version of that type of controller on the Saturn toward the end of his life. But anyways, the Dreamcast controller just melted in your hand. It was buttery smooth. It was forward thinking, like Sega always has done. It was forward thinking. Mm-hmm. They had it was the modem. I think they were still using dial-up, right?
Yeah,
they was using dial-up. But Sega, the Dreamcast was very forward thinking. And to get away from my initial impressions, I'm not gonna go too far, but the spirit of the Dreamcast still lives on today. If you go back and you look at the things that Dreamcast brought to the table, as far as like system design and moving forward, the spirit of the Dreamcast still lives on today in the Xbox. But yeah, mm-hmm. I was the Nintendo hater who didn't want to appreciate it, and I ended up borrowing the Dreamcast just so I could beat Sonic. But yeah, those are my initial impressions.
K-Bone 20.
Yeah, I give my initial reaction to it. I remember reading, and I was reading one of those old school magazines, maybe One Up or what, EGM or something like that it was called. and I believe I remember reading about the Dreamcast coming out, and and even then I was reading about the power of the Dreamcast and the power it was pushing and what it was doing with the systems behind it, and I was always kind of techie, so. I remember saying that, and I had to make a decision because I know I was only getting one system, and I started to waver on my PlayStation. I'm like, man, this Dreamcast sound legit. And I remember that one of my cousins said, "Well, I think I'm gonna get the Dreamcast," and I was like, "Well, bet money. Well, you get the Dreamcast, and I get the PlayStation, and then we just play each other's systems." And that's kind of how it went. Is they ended up getting the Dreamcast, and I got the PlayStation. And so when I would go over their house, I would play the Dreamcast. They would come over here, they would play the PlayStation. And so my thoughts about it is that I thought it was cool. I thought the little thing on the joystick was underutilized. I thought they could utilize it a lot more than what they did. But the time they did utilize it, it was awesome. Especially being able to like call your own basketball plays or football plays on the little screen and your joystick.
PMU.
Yeah. I thought that was dope. Being able to do that, and it was
precursor to the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah, true. But I thought that was genius in the way they could use that, especially for that time of day when we were just getting decent handheld, not just getting decent, but more people were jumping in the hell hand game. And so no, I thought it was cool. I liked it. I never owned it myself, but I definitely played the crap out of it when I went to my cousin's house.
Yeah, Dreamcast to me is one of my favorite. It's in my top 3, definitely. I feel like at that time I was working at Blockbuster when the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2 was on the horizon, and basically, and I'm gonna be honest, and I know this might K-Bun probably won't agree with this, but this is my feelings. I feel like the PlayStation 2's brand and fame and hype, not the actual system itself, is what hurt and killed the Dreamcast. It was the fact that the brand of PlayStation had built so strong, and then the idea of that DVD is what won and what actually persuaded people to go Sony over Sega. To me, the Dreamcast, and I had both. I'm gonna be honest, and I think this is the dumbest thing I ever did as a gamer. One of the dumbest moves I ever did as a gamer when I traded in my 64 and I traded in my Dreamcast. I traded in my Dreamcast for the PlayStation 2. And I got caught up in the hype. I got caught up in the noise. I got caught up in everybody else talking about this is what they're going to get. And the fact that everybody was saying that the Dreamcast was done because of the PlayStation 2. And of course it was. But I got Tekken Tag. I never forget it. I got Tekken Tag. I brought the PlayStation 2 home. I ain't have my Dreamcast there no more. And I'm sitting there and I'm playing Tekken Tag. And me and my younger brother played for about maybe a day or two. And I was just sitting there and I was sick. Like, bro. And I told him, I was like, man, I should have just saved up my money and bought this and kept my Dreamcast because I want my Dreamcast back. And I sat there. I was hurt. I was like, what kind of fool are you? None of the Soul Calibers played as good as Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. I don't care if you talk about the one on the GameCube. You talk about any Soul Calibur. Never played as good as the Soul Calibur played on the Dreamcast. It never felt the same. It never felt as fluid. It just never did. And I had more fighting games. I had more diversity on the Dreamcast. Virtual tennis still to this day holds up in physics and the way it played.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Man, it was just so many gems. What's that stone?
Power Stone.
Power Stones and the Street Fighters titles on that game, that system, man. All the Capcom, they had so many odd Capcom fighting games on there that you wouldn't even find anywhere else. And
a lot of zombie games like Zombie
Revenge. It was ahead of its time. It was forward thinking. It was the perfect console that just did not get the love and the appreciation because of the brand that was Sony PlayStation. That's the only thing that hurt it. It didn't have Sony or PlayStation on it. And to me, the Dreamcast was the perfect storm at the wrong time. So,
well, the modding hurt it too, by the way.
The what? Yeah, the modding. Yeah.
But I mean, you got to go back though. There was a lot of games that the Dreamcast didn't get. And speaking of EA, they didn't get. I don't think they got any EA games like the Maddens and things like that. And there were a lot of other. Even though it was a Sega console, there was a lot of other RPGs. I don't think it was getting either. If memory, like I said, I never owned one, so I'm talking on the side of my neck. But there were so many games at the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. The PlayStation 2 hadn't even came out yet. And there was so many games that the PlayStation was getting that even the Dreamcast or the Nintendo 64 was getting. So it's stuff like that that to me really hurt the image of everybody that's not Sony.
But check it out though. The fact that EA wouldn't want to play ball with Sega, they just jumped ship. That basically opened the door for Sega Sports, where you can get the virtual tennis, where you got NBA 2K, when you got NFL 2K. That wouldn't have happened if you still had EA on board. True. So look at what happened. So when people were being salty about something, wound up creating a franchise that's still going today, and one franchise that should still be going today if somebody would actually do it. But that's another conversation altogether.
But and also, I was going to say, to add to that, D2K, and that's what a whole lure about EA having so much influence and power in the industry came from the fact that because they trying to act like because EA didn't support the Dreamcast, that's why that's where it came. And I was like, dude, that's stupid. But go ahead. I just wanted to say that everybody, they didn't support the Dreamcast. That's why EA ain't the main reason. It was a small piece of wood on a huge flame, but no, they didn't contribute to the failure of it. Not in my opinion. Like D2K said, better games came because of it. So, but yeah. But go ahead. Who else want to go chime in?
I'll jump in really quick because I know you. I'm not gonna spend any time on the Sony piece. I do tend to disagree with that statement level.
What are you eating? So we can at least imagine how good it is.
My fault, man. My wife just got home with dinner.
Okay.
Got some chicken and wing stop, so I apologize.
No, you good. The way you talking, you making us wish we had some. That's all.
It's good.
What flavor?
Parmesan garlic right there. It's fire.
Come on, dude.
He smacked. I'm like y'all. Everybody pause. Like, what you eating, bro?
I apologize for that. I got the chicken on my teeth now. I'm good.
Almost smell it.
You smell it. You smell it. All right. I'm not gonna spend any time too much time on that, but I will say Sony had an impact on the Dreamcast, but I don't think it was just brand. Just speaking that if you actually go back in time and you look at the PlayStation 2, a lot of the big time franchises had some of their best games on the PS2. Just going back, some of Metal Gear Solid, GTA, looking at Gran Turismo, and some of the other bigger games had their biggest hits. God of War came on the scene on the PS2. But Dreamcast is still in its own. I thought they made some bad mistakes that helped to the destruction of the Dreamcast, but they made some, as we've been saying beforehand, they made some excellent games that were best on that system. Definitely remember the Soul Calibur playing that. Definitely remember. I remember the most is Virtual Tennis, because people that same Virtual Tennis is almost pretty much in arcades still now, and it's pretty much the same Virtual Tennis, and it still was a a wonderful and great made a video game. And so that was definitely one of my favorite games. Period. I spent hours playing over my cousin's house playing that virtual tennis. That was just they outdid themselves in a lot of areas when it comes to the Dreamcast.
Yeah, man, that was a game that my boy John Brown and used to play. Like that's all he played. And I never really was into tennis, but I'm watching it, and then I end up playing. Like, God, this is ridiculous. But you brought up an interesting point, K-Bum. I ain't never really heard anybody say what Sega had done that hurt the Dreamcast. Now we know what Sega done as a company that hurt the company, so I guess that could be what they done to hurt the Dreamcast. But what missteps with the Dreamcast did Sega do? Because I don't really know of any outside of the. And Keith brought up, I guess.
Well, I was referring to organization thing more of a just Sony itself, not actual.
Okay.
They did towards the Dreamcast just as a company.
Okay, but were there any missteps with the Dreamcast? Anybody? Was there any missteps with the Dreamcast itself?
They should have.
Go ahead.
They should have revamped the controller and added a second analog stick. I know that's very small, but that second analog is very, very pivotal in today's modern gaming. And in seeing that the original PlayStation 1 had it with the update, I think they should have did that with the Dreamcast too.
Okay. D2K, any mistakes that you saw Sega make with the Dreamcast itself, not just the company as a whole?
What I mean, outside the obvious ones, obviously, it was very easy to pirate Dreamcast, so that pretty much took all the sales away. You can easily make a game and burn it and put a boot disk in there and you're good to go. You didn't have to be really intelligent to do that. You just need to follow directions. You can easily make your game. So.
And that's crazy you say that. I used to go over friend houses with the Dreamcast, and I used to see them with CDs with Dreamcast games on them, and I didn't understand how to. At that time, I'll be honest, I wasn't savvy with the, I guess, architecture of a system. So I didn't know all the ins and outs. So that was like, how are y'all doing that? So basically, it took nothing to put a game on a disc with the Dreamcast.
I got a question about that. Even if you could burn the games, and of course that's going to affect sales, especially back then, since there were no digital games. Wouldn't it still drive up the console sales though? Because people could be like, man, I gotta give me a Dreamcast so I can get all my games for free. Wouldn't that make the console sell more anyways?
No, because people who already had them would just, get the. I mean, people would not go out and buy more games to do that. It's the people who already had Dreamcast said, "Oh, I can just go down to the Joe Schmo down the street who's selling Dreamcast out of his bag here." So. Let's put it this way. There's always some over here guy in your neighborhood that's selling something. And there was no shortage of those guys back then selling Dreamcast games, all over the place. And so I got that new Power Stone 2, I got that new, NBA 2K3 or whatever. So, that hurt a lot. And a lot of people didn't go out. It hurt their bottom line so much that, it's sped up the inevitable with Sega and the Dreamcast. And I forgot what I was going to say. Obviously not being able to play DVDs hurt it, because that was the main thing that made PlayStation 4 stand out to casuals, is that at that time, DVD players were still very expensive.
Right.
And to be able to have an all-in-one console where you can have, a high-end console plus a DVD player, people had a reason to justify buying this, as a Christmas present for kids and adults. So that's one major reasons why the PlayStation 2 is the highest selling console ever. That's one of the things that killed the Dreamcast before it even came out, because it was using it was not quite a DVD. It was like a 1 gigabyte special proprietary disc type thing. So it really was didn't fit in with anything else, so they kind of just screwed themselves with that. And it was a lot of the decisions that Sega made before this even happened that kind of messed things up. They wasted so much money in the 5th gen with so many upgrades that they didn't really have a chance to compete with Sony financially because they burned up all their money in the 4th and 5th generations with the Sega, the Mega Drive and the 32X and the Sega CD and the Pico and the Nomad and the Game Gear and the Saturn. And then you finally get to the Dreamcast. You got all this other hardware floating around out there that's not making you any money, and you're losing money on that. So they didn't really have any money to double back and say, okay, let's put another analog on our controller to compete with the dual shock of the PlayStation 2 or the dual analog on the GameCube. They didn't have the money. They messed themselves up. So, you know, it's just it's unfortunate.
Womp womp.
Yeah, the combination of bad business decisions by Sega and the luxury of having a DVD player for $299. I think that's how much the PlayStation 2 cost when it came out. $299. Literally, I remember sitting there. I was assistant manager at Blockbuster, man, and they was coming in. They thought we sold them, and we didn't sell the system at that time. They would come in asking did we have the PlayStation, and parents was coming in, and it was only buying it because some was just buying it for the DVD player because DVD players were very expensive, and the PlayStation 2 was actually one of the better DVD players, and you could get it for $299. So Sony really cornered the market with that move with the PlayStation 2. And I remember one time a customer brought theirs in because it wasn't working. They thought it was a disc, and they brought it in. And I think the disc had got stuck in their PlayStation 2. And they brought it in. I'll never forget this, man. And you know the color of the PlayStation was black with the blue logo. The color of the PlayStation 2 was blue. This thing was brown, bro. This thing was brown. The fan had dirt and like literal lint all in it, and I got it open, but I couldn't salvage. They couldn't salvage the PlayStation 2, and she tried to blame it on me and said I broke her PlayStation 2. I'm like, look, man, I got the disc out, I got the thing to open for me, but your PlayStation 2 was just neglected. I don't know if you, wherever you keep it at, you probably had too many animals running around your house. That's because it looked like cat lint and hair all in it. So. But yeah, I'll never forget that, man. They was a dirty family, so you saw all types of them coming up in Blockbuster. But anyway, the PlayStation 2 that's why I say the brand and the power that was Sony just outsmarted and out positioned the Dreamcast, and it just came at the wrong time with the PlayStation 2 overshadowing it, and people just was waiting on the PlayStation 2, especially after the success of the PlayStation 1. The Dreamcast, I don't know. It just couldn't stand.
I would probably say that the brand did help the PlayStation 2 a lot because you look at the Dreamcast. We talked about how it had a lot more memorable games than any of the consoles of that generation. But then you had the GameCube, which also had some memorable games, and it was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. You had the Xbox that had some memorable games, and you know it kind of. Not the console, but the IP that carried Microsoft for years after that, Halo, launched on that console, and that was substantially more powerful than the PlayStation 2. But the PlayStation 2 still whooped everybody convincingly. It wasn't even close. They sold like 3 times as many together, 3 times as many GameCubes and Xbox consoles with their own consoles. So it's you know. It was brand, bro. That brand and that DVD and the Sony brand, the PlayStation brand was so huge. It was ridiculous. I mean, and like again, them was my true blue hating something. My Nintendo fandom, extreme haterade having me. I couldn't understand it. I would go out to the shelf and just loathe the PlayStation section. Hated on every game I saw, found no reason to like it, even though I truly deep down liked some of it. But the PlayStation 2 was never, I'm just going to be honest, I never cared for the PlayStation 2. Never.
never cared for the PlayStation 2. Even when I owned it, I didn't really like it. And that's one of my least favorite systems of all time. And I don't say that to be funny. I say that honestly, it was one of my least enjoyed platforms I ever owned. And the hype, though, the hype was so surreal that it forced my hand. I knew he was gonna be unmute, but I'm just being real. To me, it wasn't a bad system, but it wasn't better than the Dreamcast. It wasn't better than the GameCube. It wasn't better than the Xbox. I can name several games on all them platforms that was better than what was on the PlayStation 2 at the time. But like D2K said, it didn't matter. It did not matter. It sold almost 5 times what them platforms sold combined. It doesn't matter what. I mean, if you go and you look at the greatest games of all time, you're going to see more N64, GameCube, Dreamcast games, and Super NES games. You're going to see anything from the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, yet and still the PlayStation 2 sold like it was making the greatest stuff in the world, and it really, honestly, it wasn't. And
now I do have to jump in and kind of disagree with a little bit of that.
I know
the reason why I have to do that is because there's a reason why when the 360 came out, the first thing the 360 did was buy away the third party that was Sony only. That's the first thing the 360 did, was buy those games that were only on Sony's system. The headliner being GTA. That was only on the PlayStation system. And that's why I say that there were some big hitters. Again, when GTA, San Andreas, PS2, what was that? So like 17 million copies, ridiculous amount of copies, and that put GTA on the map, including what it did with GTA 3 and Vice City and whatever. And so I want to say that yes, there were some amazing games also on other consoles, but there were some big games that made Microsoft be their duty to go ahead and get those on their system as well, because they knew that they couldn't survive without having those systems games on their systems. So I know we're talking about
actually Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas were on the original Xbox as well.
when it came out much later than actually I don't think it came out launch.
Well.
I don't think it didn't come out launch with the.
No, it did. It did. K-Bum was right. That was a lot of them games was most of them Grand Theft Autos was exclusive to the PlayStation 2. I think the 2 Vice City. I think that was the one that eventually came to the Xbox, but it was late in that cycle. In that cycle, but I would say this, K-Bum. Honestly, you are correct, but if you go back to the Dreamcast, to the 360 launching a year before, the 360 wasn't doing great. It wasn't doing great at all. I remember it launched with that Konami game that I thought was on the GameCube. What's that? The Rare game. Rare made it. It's not Konami. Cameo. It launched with Cameo. It launched with the Call of Duty, and it launched with the King Kong game.
What when in Perfect Zero? Dark didn't launch with it?
And Perfect Zero Dark, which was trash. The second. It was. The Xbox was doing horrible that first year. What saved the Xbox was not securing all the third party. What saved the Xbox was when Sony announced their price and Gears of War showed up. That's what sold the 360. That's when I'm gonna tell you that's why I bought the 360. I waited to E3. I didn't care about the 360. I went to Best Buy. Me, my boy my boy John Brown and my boy Derek Freeman. We walked into Best Buy. They had a demo up. They were showing off King Kong because it came out. They were showing the kind of graphics of his hair and all this stuff. I was like, man, I'm not caring. So we walked out like I'm waiting to PlayStation 3 and the Wii. That I'm definitely getting the Wii. So whatever I get is determined off of that E3 between the PlayStation 3. I knew I was getting the PlayStation 3. Then Epic showed up with Gears of War, and Sony said $599, and I got up like later on that month and bought the white 360, the Elite 360, and that was it. And that's when you saw the boom of 360s. It was after E3 the following year.
Now I will jump in and disagree, because if you remember, one of the biggest announcements in almost all of E3 is when old boy walked out with the tattoo of GTA on his arm.
Yeah, that was. You're right.
That blew everybody's mind, because they're like, "Wow, now Sony's not the only person, and it has exclusive."
But wasn't
and
that
they started
same
to
year?
do that with several other Sony only games. They started to do the same thing with them.
Yeah, but wasn't that the same year of Gears of War?
I don't exactly remember which E3 it was, but I remember that was a huge announcement, but I do not remember the year it was.
I don't think that was the year, because the year that I'm talking about,
yes, it was the same year. It was Gears of War was released on November 7, 2006.
Yeah. So, like I'm saying, that price is what done it. It wasn't really, and that's probably why all of them started leaving, because they knew the price was ridiculous. But I can't prove that. But I know the 360 sat dormant, almost was it dead, until Sony breathed life into the 360 by announcing that ridiculous price.
Well, we can't really prove the point, because they're both happening the same year, and so we can't really prove either of our points of saying it was that announcement or my announcement. So we might have to move on.
I mean, it's fair to say that a lot of people might have been waiting to hear what Sony was going to say.
I was
agree that from the previous generation, people said, "Well, I might pick up this Xbox 360, but let's see what Sony had to say." And they said $600, and they threw up them dubs and said,
"Right, that was it." I'm telling you, that's what I'll never forget it. Everybody left E3 like, what the heck is Sony thinking with a $599 system? And I went out.
But you know what? The guy, I don't know who it was, but one of the guys from Sony said that we could put the PlayStation 3 out for $600 in no games, and people will buy it.
Right. K-Bum, he always made that statement clear, the arrogance that Sony had at the time. But anyway, so I think it is, Sony got branding, going back to what we was initially saying while we get out of here. Sony's brand, still to this day, is, to me, is the most powerful. It ain't the best gaming company, but the most powerful brand in gaming. Like, the PlayStation brand is ridiculous, and since they've been in it, it don't matter. Even the PlayStation 3, even how it started, it still sold 90-something million platforms. And the PlayStation 4 is on its way to selling that and probably then some. So it's brand, man. Sony got a brand and loyalty that I think is better than Nintendo's, to be honest with you.
Well,
they knew where to put it. They knew where to put their money.
Sony is what Nintendo used to be. Yeah. And they, even right now, you see the PlayStation 4 selling like crazy. But you don't really see, not that the PlayStation 4 doesn't have any good games, but it doesn't even compare to the previous two generations from Sony, or three. I mean, all three of those generations have better games at this point than the PlayStation 4 does now. And yet the PlayStation 4 is selling at a phenomenal clip. And you have to scratch your head and, like, it's not a bad console or anything, but what's going on here? So,
Yeah, so I think it's Brandon. And go ahead, Keith. I think it's Brandon that killed the Dreamcast. So go ahead, Keith, though. You was going to say something.
I was just going to comment on the whole Sony thing. Sony is the product of right place at the right time. They were coming out around the time that discs were becoming the future. They were undercutting Nintendo as far as like getting third parties on their team. And they're making games on the PlayStation was much simpler than making games on something like the Sega Saturn, because Sega was, they were dipping their toe in both 2D and 3D. So developers was like, I don't know, these things are hard to code for. So it was the right time at the right place at the right time, and they have basically taken the model of the Super NES and even the controller, even the color with the original PlayStation, and just duplicated it each generation after each generation. So, K-Bum, you are playing on a Super Nintendo 4. Yeah, I said it.
Well, the PlayStation was supposed to be the Super Nintendo CD attachment.
And Nintendo blew that.
Yep. So when they walked out on stage and said, "Yeah, we'd like to announce our new partnership with Philips."
So I guess the next podcast, man, we had to talk the possibilities of what would it have looked like had Sony and Nintendo stayed in partnership.
If Nintendo's arrogance didn't screw them over, because the Sony's biggest triumphs, and it's still happening today, Sony's biggest triumphs have always come on the back of Nintendo's failures.
Yeah,
every single time.
But we definitely have to have that conversation.
I ain't having that conversation with
you. Yeah, you having that conversation.
Because y'all say one more time that is just the name of
say one more
thing that's moving these consoles.
I'm just saying it's the brand, man.
I'm like, did I not have like 30, 40 PS2 games?
But no, we're not saying that, K-Ball.
No. I understand, but I'm just saying what it sounded like being said is that it just happened to be there. It had a good brand name and it sold well. When in actuality, there were some, like I said, the franchises that were on, even going back to Prince of Persia at its heyday, was on the PS2. And I understand what people are saying, but they're also saying that the brand name. So instead of, I didn't hear anyone talk about how well, except for me, talking about how good the games were on the PS2. It was always said about inferior when those franchises, Metal Solid, GTA, Prince of Persia, all hit their God of War, not God of War.
Them were great.
Say what?
Them were great games, but them all came, especially God of War, they all came late in the cycle of the PlayStation.
Not Prince of Persia. No, it did not.
Okay, I give you Prince of Persia.
And GTA, they put like 3 GTAs on the PS.
3 and what sold GTA was controversy and naughtiness.
Come on, man.
Let's be real. It wasn't game.
No. Let's be real. GTA perfected the open world gaming.
Yes, it did. But what sold it?
It kind of benefited on the same thing that Mortal Kombat 2 benefited on with Mortal Kombat 1 with the whole blood thing. So all this is too violent for people. People said, really?
Right. That's what sold it, bro.
Agree, but you're not gonna say that Mortal Kombat wasn't a good fighting game.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't a good game. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is most who played the game wasn't playing it for the good game aspects. They wasn't even finishing the game. They were just shooting down pedestrians and driving over people and losing their mind.
But that's what the open world allows you to do, and that's what I understand. I understand. There was a portion of people who bought GTA just for the violence piece of it, right? If it was just that, it would not have done what it did. There is that, and the fact that that was built on a very good game.
No, we're saying that the controversy is what got people's attention.
Yeah, it got. Yeah,
there's nothing to do with the quality of the game.
Yeah,
the game definitely had quality. Otherwise, people wouldn't keep playing it once they started playing it. But people would not have known about it had it not have been for the controversy. And that goes back to what we were saying.
It wouldn't have been as mainstream without the controversy.
No, because people who. No, I'm talking about casuals. I'm not talking about gamers like us. People on the outside, your cousin, your auntie, or whoever, is like, "Ooh, you can kill people. You can listen to Zapp and Roger while you're driving your car." Stuff like that.
That was dope.
That's tough. And then that goes back to what we're talking about with the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast had games that were just as good, but they didn't have the fanfare that Sony did.
Right. And I was going to say this, D2K and all y'all, and K-Bum, you might like this, and you might not. I don't know. The PlayStation is Nintendo's with Sega's attitude. The PlayStation is Nintendo with Sega's attitude.
Which one?
The brand. The brand. The thing that drives PlayStation is is Nintendo, because it is Nintendo. Like Keith said, it really is the Super NES 4 or Super NES 5. It really is that, but it's got Sega's attitude towards marketing, the way that they market, the attitude that they talk is just a flair. It's just a
or even the attitude that Nintendo had in the late 80s and early 90s.
Right, but then Sega came in and did that attitude better than Nintendo with, and that's what was, because Sega was kicking Nintendo behind for a little while. So the attitude that Sega brought to the game, the willingness to say that Sega does what Nintendo don't, and blast process, the way that they approached it, whereas Nintendo, now you're playing with power, it wasn't going at anybody's head. It was just you, but Sega went at your head. Sony came in like, we here, we the best, but then they had Nintendo. The system had Nintendo-like stuff with the controller, and it was definitely in the Nintendo system, and it has never wore off, and it has worked from that day on.
Don't forget Crash Bandicoot standing up. Don't forget Crash Bandicoot standing outside the Nintendo offices and stuff.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So, right. So
terrible mascot. Sony still doesn't have a good mascot. They just
so going back to Grand Theft Auto, I definitely thought it was a good game. It was the game of that generation. It was breaking so many grounds in open world and what you could do. But I remember so many people who had the game, K-Bum, they didn't even finish the game. They ain't even play the story. They ain't even know what was going on with the story. Give me a gun and let me play music like D2K said and shoot people. And that was it. That's all they was doing. Like in Dave Chappelle's skit. that's what it was, man. And the controversy, that's what sold that game. And it's so, and with that, the PlayStation 4, after the DVD part wore off or wasn't the selling thing, Grand Theft Auto became the seller. So yeah.
I'm be real with y'all, man. GTA is borderline trash to me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said it.
Wow.
GTA it's a boring game. It really is.
All of them, or just a particular one that you played?
I played 3.
I know 4 was.
I couldn't even finish 4.
Which one was on? Which one was on the PlayStation 3?
3, San Andreas, and Vice City.
4. I think the PS2 was
San Andreas or something.
Was San Andreas, Vice City, and 3. That was the PS2.
Right. What was PS3?
4.
4.
So GTA 4 and GTA 5.
Oh yeah, GTA 5. That's right.
Okay, 4. I played the first GTA I ever played was 4, and I'm with Keith. It wasn't that the game was bad. It was just go pick up your girlfriend is calling you. Go pick her up and take her to a date, and you get out and you walk around, then get back in the car, take her home, and then go meet. I'm like, dude, this is chores. Like I ain't here to do chores. I'm here to play a game. I ain't here to do what I do at work.
and like Level said, I'm not trying to hate on the game per se of anybody else who enjoys it, but man, it's really not that fun. Like, and I can't knock the sales. I mean, GTA 5 is still selling now. It's probably going to outsell Wii Sports, believe it or not.
I don't know about that.
Across PC, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, it's up there. It's
81 million.
It's
copies.
at 70-some million.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, and I was going to say D2K. It's still ranks.
I didn't know it was that high.
It's still selling.
It still ranks amongst the highest selling games. Like
every
in
month.
the top 10 selling games, it's still in the top 10 every month.
Okay, you know what? I stand corrected. I don't know it was up there.
I don't know why, but it is.
It ain't the controversy that's selling the GTA 5. Not at this point.
No, it ain't.
It has at one point.
That's norm now, K-Bun. That's norm now.
But, a lot of now it's more about the modding. You know,
yeah.
That's kind of the new thing with Grand Theft Auto is that people just mod the crap out of it and basically make their own game out of it now.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Hold up. See, look at Sony doing it again. We was talking about the Dreamcast, and Sony's overshadowing.
Hey, hold on. I know you ain't talking because every conversation we have turns to a Nintendo conversation. If I can have my Sony conversation just once, a couple times in one podcast, let me have my moment. You calm yourself down and talk about Sony.
No, what I'm saying is we was talking about the Dreamcast, and Sony is what hurt the Dreamcast, and here it is in the conversation about the Dreamcast.
Hurting the Dreamcast.
Sony has took over again. Sony, you's a dirty dog. You's a dirty dog, Sony. Anyway, go ahead. I just said, like, wait a minute, what are we supposed to be talking about? The underrated, underappreciatedness of the Dreamcast?
We know who the popular kid is.
We just disrespected the Dreamcast in his grave, disrespected it again. I just feel bad.
Anyway. The Dreamcast is like the cousin Oliver. It's just like the guy you don't want around, just redheaded stepchild type thing, you know?
Yeah. But next week we're gonna talk about the PlayStation, bro. What would it have been had the PlayStation and Nintendo?
Oh, man,
you want to talk about the PlayStation for a good length of time?
But you got to slide in Nintendo. You can't just let it stand on this.
Hey, but this is gonna be a pro Sony situation because we know what happened in that situation and how.
No, it's going to be level saying the brand.
What does Nintendo Ultra say? What does the Nintendo Ultra say? Sony always winning. Sony always winning, man. Y'all always winning. Y'all stay winning, so you should be happy. Y'all win, K-Bomb. 67 million sold, bro.
Man, what am I winning? You talking about we winning?
I'm just saying.
Let's not start that stuff.
I'm messing with winning? Y'all winning, man. No, I'm just playing. Anyway. But yeah, going back to the Dreamcast, yeah, I think had it not been for Sony, the Dreamcast would have enjoyed the long, lengthy life, I think. So that's what I think.
And Sony would have still drove themselves to bankruptcy.
They supposedly out of bankruptcy right now, K-Ball.
Yeah, I know. I'm happy for them.
Okay. Yep. So anyway, anything else before we get out of here? I think we have had a good lengthy conversation.
Did you get a chance to watch Super last Saturday?
You know I did.
So I'm kind of confused about what's going on here because I guess Goku is going to be back to being a Super Saiyan God again.
Yeah.
But I went to some guy online. And he was talking about how breaking down the comparison to Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, and how he's used Super Saiyan God a few more times in the manga than he has in the actual anime. But he's basically saying that Super Saiyan Blue is basically him tapping into Super Saiyan God power and going Super Saiyan, and it is stronger than Super Saiyan God. So people are trying to figure out, well, why would he go back to being Super Saiyan
Speed?
I can tell you,
and that's exactly right. Speed.
Yeah, that's what
because he's fighting the bearish jackrabbit looking thing.
Yeah,
and supposedly this guy is so fast that he can go faster than Hit's time skip.
He too fast for the skip. So yeah, and when I first saw it, I was like, why would he go back to the God form when Blue is supposed to be higher than the God form? And then when I was listening to a video, they was talking about the speed. I was like, oh, I remember in when he was fighting Beerus, he made mention of how fast he can go, and then it left him, and Beerus was kind of training him and said, you realize that your God form has left you a while ago, and Goku he powered up and all that, but kind of find out that they already showed another form. I don't know if you saw this. I don't want to spoil it if you don't want me to.
Well, I already know about it. I mean, basically what's going to wind up happening is that somehow he's going to be able to combine the two, or basically learn how to tap in. He's going to basically learn how to be able to become a Super Saiyan as a Super Saiyan God. Not tapping into it, but actually becoming a Super Saiyan God, basically merging both powers together to unlock his actual true God form.
He basically finna become ultimate, like Ultimate Gohan. He finna become Ultimate Goku.
Right.
That's what he going to, and he gonna have, they say, silver eyes. But Keith, what was you saying?
No, I was saying he's just basically going to be able to use a multiplier. That's all Super Saiyan is a multiplier, and he's going to be able to multiply his God Ki. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. And Cable, I'm like, what are these fools talking? But anyway,
it's a
bro, I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Like I wasn't back in the old school buying the VHSs of Dragon Ball.
Oh, I know
Z.
I thought you was on. I didn't know if you was casually a fan or you like us geeking
man,
out
I was
over
going and buying the VHSs and burning them for my buddy and buying the CDs back in the day. Man, I just don't watch Super yet because I haven't got into it yet.
Okay.
Yes, I am a Dragon Ball Z fan. I know. I had a printout of everybody's power level. What are you talking about?
Hey, K-Ball, throw that out the window.
Yeah, throw that out the window.
I mean, now I'm throwing out the window.
I'm sorry, man.
Z level.
I apologize.
All right, we're cool. I'm backing up. Going back to mute.
All right. But no, I was trying to say this. I remember back college days, K-Bum 20, but I wasn't with him doing this. My boy D Rick used to record him. And this is when Goku was about to do his transformation. And we ended up having to go. He had ran out of VHS tapes. So we scrambling because we getting out of class late. And there's a group of us that would go over his apartment because his apartment was his mom's apartment where they lived was the closest to the campus. So we would all rush over there to see it. And so we had to rush him to Dollar Store to buy VH tape so he could record it. We pulled up right when the show was coming on. We came in, and Goku didn't even go Super Saiyan that episode.
Next week, the Dragon Ball Z will do like the second part of this maneuver.
This one Krillin when Frieza. He stood over the cliff and blew.
Oh my God!
And he
started was brutal, man. Oh my God!
Yeah. So, and you notice something? I will say this, and we can get out of here. Have you noticed you haven't been seeing Frieza or Frost?
Yeah. They wouldn't have put them in there, and it wouldn't have showcased them like they did if they didn't have something big planned for them. So
I think they do. I think. This is theory. Can I just go on a theory?
Go ahead.
For the tournament, Frieza. Now maybe Goku could have controlled the God Ki. I don't mean what was that key? Was it God Ki or God Matter or something like that? When the God of Destruction gave old dude that chaos matter or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he hit Frieza with it. And Frieza controlled it. Which technically, while I know the other guy, the God of Destruction, gave it to the guy, but the way it was used on Frieza, he should have been destroyed. But he controlled it, shrunk it down, and took control of it. And then, of course, he hit Goku. And I believe Goku was intentionally allowing himself to be, because it never destroyed him.
Right.
But Goku didn't control it like Frieza. So I'm predicting something finna go down with Frieza that's gonna trigger Goku's form.
Well, Frieza said that while he was in hell, he figured out how to master his golden form mentally. So now we already know that the golden form is more powerful than the Super Saiyan Blue. The only reason why he lost is because he used up all his stamina because he didn't know how to control that power yet. But now he does know how to control it. So, I mean, it still could be tossed up because Goku and Vegeta have gotten stronger since they fought Frieza. But that form is more powerful than Super Saiyan Blue. So we'll see.
Yeah, Goku has gotten powerful, but like you said, Frieza's meditation and being able to tap into the full prowess of that golden form, I would say if that's the case, then even though Goku and Vegeta got powerful, you can say Frieza probably still more powerful. Because like I said, Goku, I don't know, everybody theorized that he was playing and he'd been allowing himself to get caught all throughout the show. So there is a strong theory there that Goku is playing around and testing his power and capabilities. But man, when Frieza came out of that chaos, whatever it was, and shrunk it and controlled it, even Goku mouth dropped it. Even Beerus like, how did you do that?
Yeah, Frieza's got some plans. He wants to take out Xena, which I don't think he can do that. But he's got some plans, and I don't know. Frieza came back savage. I don't know. I mean, he might be close to pure evil as it is, because he just seems to be completely unredeemable. No matter what you do, he just is constantly trying to find a one-up on everybody. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Frieza. I think that he might be the key to this whole thing breaking loose.
I do. I believe that's because they ain't showing him. They're not showing Frost, and like you said, DJK, they too much of an evil character to not pay attention to. Everybody worried about the Angel. I think everybody need to be worried about Frieza and what's up his sleeve and what he got prepared, because he definitely ain't there to align with Goku. This is just fun for him until he's ready to exact whatever mental evil plan he got hatched up in his head somewhere. So
they might have thrown a curveball, but there was a different reaction when Universe 10 got eliminated, because that Angel kind of felt bad about it versus the other one was happy. So it's not like they all in on some. I know they still could be all in on some collusion, but it was interesting to see a different reaction from that Angel from that universe.
I'm gonna tell y'all what's gonna happen. Frieza gonna run up against Jiren, right? And Jiren gonna beat the snot out of Frieza, and it's gonna snap Goku into a new form, and he's gonna show his full power, because Goku been playing possum. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Goku's going to show feelings that he has for Frieza.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think
showing him mercy.
For Frieza?
I don't think Frieza can trigger that, Keith.
I can see him doing that for if he beat up Gohan or Krillin, especially when Krillin got eliminated.
Or Vegeta even. I can't see it for Frieza. Like, this is what I see. Maybe Jiren is a distraction. Maybe Jiren is not as powerful as he's been led to be. He might be a bad, you know what, but maybe let's say him and Frieza do come, and Frieza just whoop Jiren up, and then Frieza like, I'm finna take over all this. I've been sitting back playing possum. I'm finna show you what I really can do. And maybe, like I said, he controlled the God Key and took it over. And then at the beginning, you saw him look at the Xenos and be like, I want to be where they sit. I'm like, dude, maybe Frieza is way more powerful than we ever thought. Because he said he only practiced to get to that golden form for what? A couple of hours?
4 months.
A couple of months. Well, he's been in hell for a couple of years meditating. We don't know what Frieza really can do, and maybe he's not showing what all he can do. And maybe when enough people are out of the way, he can show who he is. And maybe he's more powerful than even the Xeno that even they can control. I don't know. I mean, and they just want to see.
Cornelius has brought up a fact, or it's not a fact, but a rumor that one of the Xenos is actually Zamas.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
And one of the things that people keep bringing up is that they seem to have different. They're not the same. Like they both have different dominant hands.
Yeah.
Like one of them will raise their right hand, the other one will raise their left hand. He'll like switch, like, oh wait a minute, it's this hand. So there's definitely something to that as well. I don't know if it is, because I don't see how he could have the same power as Zeno if he's just him in disguise. But I don't know. We'll see.
But I would believe that if that theory is true, then the Grand Priest knows that. I think the Grand Priest is so powerful that he can sense anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm telling y'all, man. Watch out for Frieza. I believe something is finna, because they ain't saying enough about him. But like you said, Keith, It might be something going on with the priest. I think anytime they try to make you think somebody's evil, that ain't the one you need to focus on. And since everyone think the priest has something up, I don't think that's it. I think it might be something with the fact that they do show you that the two guys, and you don't need two. So one got to be a problem with one of them. And he do lift up the wrong hand often, then correct himself for whatever reason. So he's trying to match the actual one. And so that might be something there.
It kind of reminds me of when Supreme Kai first showed up at the tournament. When he first showed up there, he was like, "Uh-oh, this dude is serious. This dude finna wreck shop." Because the way the music was playing and the way he had that look on his face,
right,
you just thought like, dude, he is not the one to mess with. But he wasn't the threat at all. He was there to tell him about the real threat, which was Majin Buu. So I think the Grand Priest kind of reminds me of how Supreme Kai was, is that you feel like he's the threat, but he actually knows who the threat is. And he'll tell you who that threat is later on when it's time to tell you.
And maybe this tournament is really not for the destruction of the other universes, but to get Goku to the power level needed to face whatever this threat is.
That's possible. That's an interesting theory.
Because I was thinking, like, this is just to get Goku to a certain level of power, and they say, all the rumors say something catastrophic happens, and it ain't the ending of the tournament. It's something happens within the tournament that sends the whole situation going another way. And maybe this whole thing was for Goku to tap into his true God nature. Maybe Goku is the fighter that old boy talking about, and he talking abstractly. What's his name? The angel that's with Beerus. We said there's a person that's stronger than the gods of destruction. That could be actually Goku, and Reese know it, but can't really reveal it.
And maybe the Grand Priest knows that one of the Xenos is Zamas, and he knows that in order to get rid of this imposter, he's going to need somebody powerful enough to defeat him, and that would be Goku. So he's concocted this whole tournament so he can ascend to a level powerful enough to destroy Zamas in this Xeno form.
Wait. But isn't the Grand Priest like the most powerful being, like as far as like on a fighting level? Are they not allowed to intervene with stuff like this?
Well, go back to what D2K just said. When the grand what's his name? When during the Majin Buu saga, you was led to believe that old boy was more powerful than any of them. And
Supreme Kai,
the Supreme Kai. But when Vegeta let Majin Buu take him over, Supreme Kai realized he wasn't no match for Goku there. And
he started seeing that when they inside the ship and they were fighting all these beings that were supposed to be the most powerful in the universe.
Right, I agree.
And they barely broke a sweat.
Right, I was just using that scene because that's where he stepped. I remember him stepping out, and Goku was like, "Look," and I know he knew by then he couldn't defeat Goku. But what I'm saying is, like you said, that this could be the same thing. It's led to believe that Goku them can't match these individuals. But look, it ain't been nobody that Goku them have faced that Goku has shown any fear or any concern about.
That's true.
But when Beerus was talking about it, it was like these guys are way more powerful, even me. But Beerus ain't even showing no fear to most of these people. So only one he showed fear to, which Goku shows no fear to, is Xeno and the Grand Priest. But maybe that's because Goku them been doing so much. Maybe in Beerus' mind, because Beerus might think that, but maybe Goku them and even Beerus himself might be more powerful, just don't know it. Could be that.
They can't even beat Whis, and Whis said he doesn't even come up to the feet of the Grand Priest as far as power level.
Man, you just hurting all my little theories. Okay. Can't even have theories. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. You're right. They can't do nothing with Whis.
but then again, Whis, every time that somebody tried to mention about his power, he's like, "You must be super powerful." He was like, and he kind of laughed, like, maybe he might just be a great fighter. I don't know.
But he does say something about he's fast. His speed is what wasn't necessarily power, is the speed that Goku them, and he don't fight with thought. He it's almost like what Bruce Lee said, it hits all by itself or reacts all by itself. So he said Goku don't think too much.
Well, that's precisely what he was saying. Whis is that he doesn't even think about what he's doing; it just does it.
Yeah. So it might be not that he's so much powerful than Goku them. He's so, like you said, keeps so much advanced in fighting that he has come to a place to where it ain't a thought. It's just it reacts and it's already like almost like Jiren. Jiren, when that thing came, Jiren didn't dodge like Goku. He predicted where it was going to split and determined it wasn't going to hit and didn't move. It's like, oh, stop. We got to get off here. We got to go. Don't do that to me, D2K. You get me talking about Super and I get talking, man. But Jiren didn't move, man. So it's kind of like Whis. Jiren's power is like Whis. And I think Goku is learning how to tap into it because Hit's power is like that. They got it's techniques that they're using, not power, it's techniques. And Goku, when he matched Hit and learned how to overpower Hit's move, Goku is a master technician. He's a master tactician. I think that's how you say it. And he's like, that's why he always got one up on Vegeta, is because Goku is a master fighter. Even though he goofy, when he gets serious, Goku figured you out, and he'll tear you apart. He'll play possum till he figure you out. Whereas Vegeta so cocky, he don't think about figuring you out. He just come in and think he could just overpower you. Goku literally take time to figure you out. And like it actually showed it in Super when he was fighting no girl, and he just seemed to like let her attack him like in the last one we watched. And then he said, I figured out your style and use it against her. Like Goku is a genius, man. He's just a goofy. He goofy, but when it comes to fighting,
he's an imbecile outside of fighting. But when he's a fighter, he's a genius.
He's a genius, man. But anyway, let's stop nerding out over Superman. I feel like I went to like high school. But anyway, next week we'll talk about what if PlayStation and Nintendo maintained their relationship, what that would have been like. We're looking forward to all the stuff K-Bum 20 will have to say, because I believe he wished deep down that would have happened. He would have loved to play Mario on a Sony system. I know you really want that, K-Bum, so we're going to give you your wishes for a topic about Sony. Do you feel good, brother? Just mute your mic back, man. Anyway, we finna get out of here, man. Starting with D2K, go and say your final remarks, bro.
I told you I don't like signing out. I can't think of anything creative to say other than bye.
Keith Norris.
Yo, guys, I'm so sleepy right now. Work is kicking my butt. Hey, but it was a great podcast. Can't wait to hear what K-Bum talks about next week. Also, if you want another anime to watch, I told you in the chat level, My Hero Academia is pretty good. It's basically what Magneto would want in a world full of mutants.
Send me a link. Send me another link to that. I think you sent it to me. Did you send me a link or did you just tell me about it?
I just told you about it.
Yeah, send me a link, man. I'll check it out as soon as I get off here.
All right.
Okay. Last but not least, K-Bum 20.
So muted. K-Bomb doesn't want to sign off.
Oh my God, we gonna have to give you a name.
So
we gotta give you a name.
Out for his wife.
This is K-Bum 21.
K-Bomb 20. Sony rocks. Okay.
Wow.
Sony, boy, look, K-Bum, you are something else. Your wife even a Sony drone. Listen to it. Anyway, this has been the Live and Level Gamers podcast. I'm going back upstairs to play my kitty system, the Switch, and I will see y'all next week. Till next time, deuces.
You don't do it like the king do. Yeah. Everybody king. Everybody God, huh? Alright. Tell them they don't do it like the king do. King do. Homie, ain't nobody king you. King you. Simmer down, boy. Down, boy. And get your hands off the crown, boy. Now, boy. Believe me. They don't do it like the king do. King do. Homie, ain't nobody king you. King you. Simmer down, boy. Down, boy. And get your hands off the ground, boy. Now, boy. Real every other day, another sucker on a record pushing dirt upon the Lord name. More money, more cars, get some more chains. It's a short thing. Only way to